This is the music judge and jury, aka Queen Millennial. And today we're here to talk about my girl, Meghan Trainor, and the fact that while the M train has been, well, stunted, stalled, somebody threw a wrench in it and it's been malfunctioning ever since. Okay? And somehow she has been able to retain some type of relevancy, even through the, how should I say, not a strong GP presence or a stronghold on the GP as she would like to have till this day. So before we get there, of course, a swift announcement and then the word. You know, I've been checking it. I've been checking those analytics now, and they're telling me quite a lot. What are they telling me? They're telling me a few things. Number one, I see there's a lot more returning visitors coming to watch my content. Thank you so very much. I don't take you for granted. But a lot of the videos I'm seeing are flatline, which means there is no engagement. And simply watching the video is not engagement. YouTube doesn't count it. It doesn't like it. The AI robot is programmed not to like it either. It needs engagement. So if you like the creator, you like what they're doing, you like the content, it wants you to engage in some type of way. Like, subscribe, comment, you name it. But taking action, even if it's a dislike, helps it out as engagement for the algorithm computer. Okay, because if you like it and you don't do any of those things, you just watching to pass it by, well then it doesn't work as hard. The video just kind of stalls because there's been no engagement. It can't tell this is important. Oh, it's got conversation on it. Oh, there's a lot of likes on this. This is important. Let me push it out to more people that are like this, that it knows will like the content, because it just keeps getting smarter and smarter. But if you're not giving it any information by not engaging with the video at all, it's not going to do its job properly. And then we, as people creating on the platform, we suffer, right? And a lot of people just end up getting frustrated and they quit, right? I'm not that person, right? Because I'm a different type of animal at this point. But anyway, just all to say is just make sure that if you like what you're getting here, that you actually engage. At least by pressing the like button, okay? With that being said, let's get into the word and then the rest. It's Pride Month. And I have more to say. I'm trying to figure out what's the goal. I'm trying to figure out, as the LGBT community at large, where are we hitting? Because I fear it's a burning barn with no return. And what do I mean by that? I mean from promoting Pride, the actual parade and the party and all that, as a family-friendly event, but there'll be men that literally be completely buck naked in front of the whole crowd, including the children, the little girls. Where and when is that acceptable anywhere else? I want to know. When and where is that acceptable for anybody else? See, I don't want the community painting us with a broad brush, because we are not a monolith. We actually do clash, unfortunately. We just like any other race or sexual orientation, organization, we clash. We're not on the same page. We're not a monolith. we have our divisions and we think differently. We don't all think the same. So no matter what you're seeing in the media about how we're pushed and portrayed, it's not exactly the full truth. Okay? All right. Welcome into It's That Girl or It's Not That Girl. Now, I'm Worklina, the workhorse. And on this show, we talk about popular music and popular artists from today, yesterday, and beyond. Now, today, we're here to find out why can Meghan Trainor, seem to really get the M train rolling the way she wants to before. Because the first album was the strongest album, and the first single was the strongest. But it seemed from there, everything just kind of went downhill as she struggled to find an identity that people would resonate with. So sit tight. I want you to go ahead and grab your popcorn, your chips, your candy, your cakes, whatever you need to get comfortable, because this is It's That Girl or It's Not That Girl. Take it away. Welcome back to It's That Girl or It's Not That Girl. Now, I'm Peyton 3.0, the artist, the musician, the entertainer, not the content creator, not the YouTuber, and not the influencer. Now, those again are great platforms and tools to build that brand, business, name, reputation up. But most importantly, can you guess? I'll wait. It's the engagement or lack thereof. Okay, we need you to engage on this platform. So if you like what you hear and see today, please do us a solid, do me a solid, and do yourself a solid by hitting that like button and share people that you know that like artists, commentary, reaction, or reviews. And of course, to truly become a part of this community here, you got to do some things. Number one, actually engage. Number two, subscribe, comment, notification bell. All right. Well, we're going to roll right on into this thing. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Meghan the Trainor. Okay. Meghan the Trainor, honey. All aboard the M train. Or not. Okay. Meghan Trainor came in hot and strong towards the mid 2010s with her song All About That Bass that made the GP's heads turn. Okay. And wonder who the heck is that? Okay. And caused, well, some controversy for the lyrics in the subject matter. But the song was positively received for the most part, and so that put Miss Meghan the Trainor on the map. Okay, she released several singles after that kept the GP moving along. The first album did fairly well. Okay, with hits like All About That Bass, Future Husband, Lips Are Moving, Honey. Okay, and many more. But she came in with a sound that basically nobody was utilizing at the time. It was an old, retired 50s big band type of sound. Okay, for the most part. And after the first album, after a successful first run in the GP, GP, for those of you who are not chronically online, stands for the general public, the mainstream. Okay, after that, things get a little bit quiet for her. She went to work, she had her time for the most part, And she was ready for that second album. She's working on it. And then the next time the GP gets a whiff of Miss Trainor is when she drops her first single for the second album. Thank you, is what she called it. No, no, no. Now, you should make a transformation, for the next era. But there is a way to do a transformation that is going to be successful, and there's a way to do it that basically runs the risk of people not caring on liking you anymore or whatever. So she completely did a 360 with her sound. She really had that big band type of sound, but then this time for that first single, no, 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 it was a 90s type of throwback this time, right? So a 90s type of throwback. And when you really think about it, throughout Meghan's whole career, she's never really had a sound that belonged to her. She never really had a sound that was Meghan Trainor, right? She always borrowed from somewhere else completely, right? But there was no Meghan Trainor type of sound. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. People didn't gravitate towards the first offering for the second album as they did the first time around. It was drastically different, and the people didn't know what to do with that for whatever reason. She released another single called, and I loved it. But I'm a musician. I'm an artist. We think differently when it comes to other artists, than just the average listener, right? But anyway, people weren't gravitating towards it like that. And she tried to come up with more singles. They did moderately well. If I Was You, I Want to Be Me Too. Moderately did well, but it wasn't making a lot of noise the way the first album and the first single did, right? And so this is where the cracks were starting to show for Meghan of, does she have the power to actually make it in this business for real, right? We know she is a fabulous writer. That's what got her in the door. But what's she going to be able to make it as an artist, right? What's she going to be able to connect to the people the way she needed to? Okay? Pause. By the way, ooh, wrong. Ha 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 ha. Pause. Anyway, by the way, if you're getting any joy from this, if you're still here, obviously you are, then please, right now, hit that like button and subscribe if you can, especially if you're a returning viewer. I'll wait. All right, so thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate you. You don't know how much it helps. But anyway, so Meghan went away for a minute. Okay. And what year was that she came back? 2000. That's 17. Hold on. Because this will tell us right here. Why does it keep doing that to me? Okay. Get this off of the, and if you can see here on Spotify, her top songs from the first album. Okay. Mm. Let's see. Okay, albums. Albums. All right. This girl has like 3 different versions of her first album, honey. All right. Yeah, she had came back in 2017 with a second album, but it took her about 3 years to finally come up with that third album because it was being pushed back. You know, she came back in with a song that I thought like was perfect for the pop market. You know, Excuse Me, I believe was the song, the first single, but nobody was really gravitating towards that, and I was just shocked, honestly. I thought that things that she was doing was really, really good, you know, really, really good. Excuse me, but nobody was really, the GP wasn't really gravitating towards it like her first body of work. And that's all they was going to see. If that first body of work, it was surprising that she even really got a chance to do a third album because the second album didn't really match up to the first. This third era was already shaky, you know, and just when like, because Megan's a smart girl, right? Megan's a smart girl, a smart woman, but for some reason, people just were not gravitating towards it. And she released several other singles too. You know, I'm Gonna Let You Be Right and for the album, but it just wasn't doing anything, right? And so the album kept getting pushed back. Eventually she released the EP instead, and eventually releasing the album during the pandemic, or I should say plandemic or whatever. During the plandemic of 2020, okay? The album did not do well, but here's the thing. I didn't care for the second album as a whole. I like songs on the second album, but I really didn't care for the second album itself. It's not an album I go back to for her, but that third album, I like that third album. Oh yes. It was critically panned. But I don't care about the critics. I don't care about them. And for a pop album, it was pretty nice. Yeah. But with songs like Nice to Meet You, right? Wave. But for some reason, still wasn't connecting with the GP. So, to me, it was a conundrum because I wanted Megan to win, right? I don't know like what was going on. Why are people not connecting to this? Okay, I thought she had finally had it, and the album came and it went. It didn't do that well, and it seemed like this would be the end for Meghan Trainor, right? Because most labels would have let an artist go by this time. They would have said, thank you for your contribution, but you're out of here. Or they probably just let her remain a writer, right? Because that's what she started. That's what she came in the game being, as a writer. She didn't really come in the game to be an artist like that, right? But by fluke of somebody saying that you should sing the song, that first hit, all about that bass, that, you know, somebody behind the scenes pushing her into it, she did it, and now she seems to be in love with it because she keeps going. Because she could have easily just went back into the shadows of just being a songwriter because her music career just wasn't working out, right? Nothing was as good as that first album. The numbers weren't showing nothing. It just wasn't doing good. And then she goes away again after that last album called Treat Myself, which again I thought was pretty good. And she she emerges actually 2 years later. I forgot. She did a whole Christmas album. She did The Love Train, which was an EP dedicated to her husband Daryl Sabera from Spy Kids. You know, and then she went to reclaim that doo-wop sound, that big band 50 sound that she did that made her so, I wouldn't say iconic, I would say that got people to turn heads and listen to her in the first place. And so she reclaimed that sound, and ever since then she's kind of been stuck with that sound, and she's just literally reclaiming it as if this is going to be the sound, like this is it right here, like. And she's made herself basically more of a TikTok darling than a taken seriously musical artist. You know, she has a podcast and all that with her husband and her child, right? The album is literally called Taking It Back, and it's Taking It Back, and it was released in 2022, but the album itself still didn't do that great at all. You know, the song Made You Look, which was also my song too, was doing wonderful things on TikTok, but it didn't translate outside of that, because I guess the majority of people were like, we already got this from you. What else do you got? Right? And so, because the landscape has obviously already changed by the 2020s, right? Of listeners. So, next thing you know, in 2020, she actually released a deluxe to it too, for some reason. But anyway, in 2024, she released Timeless, with the first single being dropped in April of 2024, which has been like this with T-Pain. When I heard it, I fell in love with it. Yeah, she still sucks to that doo-wop sound. It's off of the record, but I still love the way that she flips the sound, right? I love that. But unfortunately, Timeless wasn't doing. Still, her albums nothing came close to the numbers of that first album, right? She was able to do her thing on TikTok, so she's still a TikTok darling to this day, doing her thing on the podcast. But the albums as a whole weren't really doing a thing. Although I will say that this album right here, Timeless, that's an album I really, really like, and that's an album I think should have got the flowers it deserved. Okay? Yes. It eats from top to bottom and leaves no crumbs, in my opinion. Okay? But there it is. It just wasn't the girl. But Meghan Trainor, in my opinion, certainly is. Okay? And really, the M Train has not been able to get back on the tracks and roll the way it did when it first began, you know. So, but because of TikTok, she's been able to occupy unique space in the social media sphere. But without a site like a TikTok, where would Meghan Trainor be right now? Would they have let her go? Right? Because I'm pretty sure she had been on her last couple of legs with the labels, you know. So would they let her go? Would she have somehow found a way to keep trying, getting a new deal or something like that? What would have become of Meghan Trainor if she wasn't able to become the darling of TikTok? That's the question, right? But all to say is that the M Train currently right now, really in the big picture, is still stunted. It's stalled. Somebody threw a wrench in it, and it's not been fixed ever since, okay? But I'm really hoping that, I don't know, this next album she releases will be the album that really catapults her. She needs something like a Mariah Carey's Emancipation of Mimi to bring her back into the fold for real, and not just to be a success of a song or two on TikTok. We need the album to really do something culturally. Okay, so I say that Meghan needs to drop the doo-wop sound, honestly. Let it go. I know you reclaimed it for about 2 albums or so. Let it go, and I don't know. I think the team and her need to keep trying something else as well. You know, pay attention to what's going on out there and then figure out maybe how can you be ahead of the game on the curve for this next album. You know, do something people ain't doing, but not something that's obviously been done and beaten into the ground from other decades, such as that doo-wop sound, right? Come out with something sonically that is future, is focused for. Maybe work with a Pharrell. I don't know. Maybe work with a Pharrell or something and see what you and him can come up with. I don't know. Get ballsy, get bold like a Beyonce at this point, because it seems like that's going to be maybe your savior. You know, at the end of the day. Okay. Gotta get bold. Gotta get brass. Gotta get creative. Don't just rely on the TikTok. At this point, don't just rely on the TikTok. You deserve better than that, Meghan. Okay, this has been Peyton 3.0. The artist, the musician, the entertainer, not the content creator, not the YouTuber, and not the influencer. Also known as Working Lena, the workhorse. Queen Millennial, the audacity queen, entertain all the queen. If you got your entire life today, you know what you need to be doing, not just what you're thinking about doing. Actually take the action and hit that like button and share with people that you know that like artists, commentary, reaction, or reviews. And of course, did you become a part of the community here? You got to do you got to do a couple things. Number one, you have to engage. You got to. Come on. That means to subscribe, comment, and notification bell, okay? Now, you got to the end. Pat yourself on the back. I told you I was an artist, musician, entertainer myself, right? So we're going to do that right now. Here we go. Did I see my truth? Underneath the roof. Are you staring at me because you can't believe? Sexuality. This is me and C. The founder to the north, so just let it be. Cause I'm black and gay. You think there's no way? The love is to see a brighter day. But you're proving wrong, written in the song. Ignorance is nice, gotta pay the price. Innocence is scared, so never prepare. I'm a soldier at war, so better beware. And now, the song.
I know you're out there looking for a stress reliever.
You're looking for a stress reliever out there.
Drugs, the alcohol,
here we go.
But let me tell you what you need to do. Here we go. Blood pressure, you worked all day like the messenger. Worked so hard that the bills are high. All you do is cry me a freaking try. Punch that clock every freaking day. Still on your money, you got to pay. Fuck that shit, man, you need relief. But you got is grief for the fucking cheap. Some take care of the freaking kids. Munching your plate for your freaking lid. Stress too much, always in a rush. And even brushing, you're feeling flush. What is it that you're gonna do? Gonna have some relief in you. Time to get out with the music plays every freaking day. All I gotta say is jump, turn that music loud. I wanna see no hands in the crowd. You gotta get it turned up, get it turned up, get it turned up, get it turned up. Lose your mind to the beat. Shake it up, keep moving your feet. You gotta get it turned up, get it turned up, get it turned up, get it turned up. Get the stress.
And that is all I will be giving you, okay? Anyway, if you want to hear that song in its entirety, then comment in the comment section. You ready? Let me hear that song. And I most certainly will, absolutely for free. I could have my Gucci on. I could wear my Louis Vuitton. But even with nothing on, I made you look. Yes, I look good. good in my Versace dress, but I'm hotter when my morning is a mess. But even with nothing, oh, I made you look, yes. Wow. I feel honored you're still here. Well, thank you. Me and Meghan Trainor, we thank you a lot for staying to the very end. All right. Now, if you want to hang out with me a little bit more further today, because you got your entire life, then go ahead and click on this video that'll appear on the screen any moment, okay? And I'll see you over there. Bye.